Oy. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite warlock and practicing necromancer. Today, I'd like to talk to you about tools of the trade, basically. The little trinkets that will help defend you against a lot of different aspects. Hey, Hector, welcome to the channel, my friend. So, anyways, in black magic, sorcery, necromancy, Satanism, witchcraft, doesn't matter if you're a white light practitioner or a left hand practitioner of the dark arts. You should have some basic understanding of tools, trinkets, even that will be able to use protective magics, either reflective or otherwise. Okay? We know that the all seeing eye is a tool that is used in Egyptian mythology for seeing biomagics coming at you. It can cancel things out, it can reflect it, it can literally turn it around. Okay? But what about more common tools, like, say, the amulet or the talisman? This is something that a lot of practitioners take for granted. Okay? And I can't tell you how many times I've had individuals come to me and ask me, what can I use for protection? Okay? So let's start with the talismans. This is a simple trinket. You can use just about anything from a necklace to something with a design. Okay. You look at any tradition such as Buddhism, Zen, Hinduism, they all have these little necklaces. For an example, okay, sabbatic goat, all right, that has a unique design on it. Okay, like the Hanza, for an example. Prime example right there. It's the hand, the Hanza. Okay. This is something that can be used on wood, metal, and even stone. Doesn't matter which. Now, the Tilsam is an Arabic term. Okay, same thing with Tilsam. Okay, that's Tilsam. And Studio, welcome, welcome to the channel. So, Tilsam, Tilism. Okay, is another word. This is both of these terms are Arabic, meaning to carry. It is basically a magic letter, such as the alphabets can be used on this, or it is also known as an image. Okay, think hieroglyphs. Okay, a lot of the Egyptians in ancient Giza, they would use hieroglyphics. They would use some kind of things like birds, serpents, um, animals, depictions to utilize what that animal symbolizes. Symbolism plays a huge, huge, let's just call it what it is, a massive influx of power. Okay? Serpents resemble cunning, wisdom. Birds, protection. Okay? Cats and wolves, same thing. Okay? Wisdom. But think of what a magical image is. The very image is a design. The letters represent the meaning or the purpose behind it. Think of the lesser keys of Solomon. okay, or the greater keys of Solomon. Everything from the grimoire systems of hermeneutics to, say, for an example, let's go with, trying to think here. The best sources would be, let's go with the witch's runes, the Theban alphabet. Let's go with the depictions of Eliphas Levi. Okay, let's go with Enochian. A lot of practitioners today are into these symbols, these signs, okay, these alphabets. And this is a design, it is an alphabet, okay? It is a symbol of protection, which means to either hang or to carry, okay? If you go into the Middle East and you look at the Hebrews, you look at the Jewish customs, they're always having those amulets, those talismans in their hands, okay? And they're always praying with them. Think of a rosemary, for an example. Prime example right there. This is something that is utilized as protection. It is also something that symbolizes your faith, your belief structure. Okay. The amulet, the Latin term, amuletum, that's Amuletum, is how it's spelled. Okay. You also have the Arabic meaning called Hamala, which is Hamala. Okay. And this means to protect. Okay. Rings, prime example, everyday wear. Silver is a big thing, especially if you're into demonolatry. You look at Astaroth, his breath is such a toxic daggerism that it will pierce your flesh, which is why every grimoire that speaks to Astaroth's breath recommends a silver ring held close to your face for protection. Now, what's interesting about this particular trinket is that it can be anything. It doesn't have to be Horcrux, the ring. An amulet can be a necklace, could be earrings for women. And yes, I realize that we live in an age where men also tend to wear earrings. The what do they call that? The snake bite thingies. You know, these things are silver. They can have different designs. The nose piercing. You look at the ancient tribes where they shoved bones into their lips, into their nostrils. Same thing. Amulets can be worn for protective needs. Think of the seals that you utilize in your magics. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. Certain symbols, certain seals. The other day, yes, just yesterday, for an example, I was on a live video watching DH Thorne and his guest just last night. And somebody underneath his feed, his little chat feed, reached out to me and said, "Hey, what is that? Is that a seal? Is that your seal?" Okay. Think of a seal, a personal protector, but it can also be something that somebody can summon you with. Okay. It is the exact same thing with the seal of Astaroth, the seal of Beelzebub, Baal, Asmodeus, you name it. It is something that is both protective and a tool to call. You can use so many different things. All right. Now, let's talk about dark totems. Let's talk about totems. Statues of, say, Pazuzu, Baphomet. Okay. A lot of people, when they look at this, it's considered to be statuary depictions. Okay. But what if I told you that they are considered to be dark totems? Phylacteries. Phylactery is a term that is utilized not only as for totems, but amulets and talismans. Amulets are used for protective uses. Talismans are to carry. Now, a dark totem, what is it? A dark totem is a device that is used to store energy. Think of a Wenga, okay, in Haitian Bhutan. Or let's go with Nganga, okay, the witch's cauldron, the spirit house. This is a direct portal to whatever source of beings that you, as a practitioner, are going to be reaching out to. It keeps that gate open and it keeps that influx of energy going to the point where it is stored up. A totem such as this, let's go with the statue of Baphomet or Santa Morte, okay, the folk saint, Lady Death, Holy Death. This is a totem of prayer and worship. It's not just a visual acuity, but it is also something for you to store energy. So when you need that power behind your working, say for compassion, lust, or destruction, you have it at your fingertips. I would also recommend that you look into the Grisgris, the Mojo bag, the Hex bag, okay, the medicine bag. Okay, there's a lot of different names for this type of bag, but it comes down to the particular use that you use. All right. Now, this is where you can take an altar coin. You could take quartz crystals. Let's go with black onyx, cornelius, even black jade, green jade. The necromancer's jade, for an example. This is all stuff that you could use for spiritual protection, but also to help you with your spiritual workings when you cannot get to your altar. Okay? These are certain tools that you can have on you. I have one that I carry with me all the time when I'm not at home, just out of an example. So if I get frustrated or, say, for an example, wanting to pummel somebody at work, okay, I can just go into the employee lounge, take it out, and I've got that Cornelius stone in my hand. I've got that black jade in my hand, and my altar coin. I can hold my amulet in my hand, and all I have to do is put myself into that state of meditation and focus upon that altar coin. Okay? I can rid myself of that negativity and deflect it into something more positive down the road. These are some trinkets that you can use in your practice. So if you don't have that knowledge about this stuff, well, guess what? Now you do, because this is everyday stuff that you should have in your possession. Okay? Not just for protection or, say, for example, offensive or defensive aspects, but for everyday use. Practitioners today, they take advantage of so many things and think it's all for show and tell. It's really not. You go into let's say, for example, the medieval traditions of the talismans, amulets, the golems. Look at the scrolls, the alphabets, the images. Do you think this stuff is just for show and tell? No. How do you bring a zombie to life in Haitian Voodoo without the knowledge of herbs, plants, poisons? How do you throw together powders for protection, curses? What if I told you that there are powders that you can put in your own altar room or around your home for protection? What if I told you that you can use the same type of powders, like, say, for an example, crushed eggs, for an example, and place them over the doorstep of someone? That's how you know you've been cursed or at least marked for death. You see, these things can be used for a number of different things, but you have to have that knowledge. You have to have that knowledge. My advice to you, delve into these things. Down in the link below, underneath this, underneath the description, I have written these words out, well, typed, I should say, and I gave their meanings to you. Write them down. Do your own research into them. Okay? Don't be afraid to branch out into other systems either. Every system of magic, be it Hermetics, Kabbalah, Satanism, Wicca, paganism, Quimbanda, Umbanda. Look at Haitian, Voodoo or Hoodooism, you know, Santeria even. Look at the symbolatry behind it. Look at how they set up their altars. Look at the symbolatry and the meaning behind each thing. Look at what they have on them from say for an example, the mala beads. Mala beads can be attached to, say for an example, an inverted cross, and there you have a rosary for Satanism, demonolatry. You can put, say for an example, the regular cross on there and worship the folk saints of the Orisha, the Loa, or even, say for an example, Santa Morte. I can't tell you how many times I've ridden the bus down in Tucson, Arizona, when I lived there, that I saw people wearing a rosary with mala, brown mala beads. Okay, and every time you'd go by a church, they'd pull it out, and it's got a little Santa Morte statue on. That's a totem. That is something for you to worship and to pray to. That is a direct link to that folk saint. Just like the Sabbatic goat connects you to Baphomet, Baphomet. So you see, there's a lot of uses and there's a lot of meanings. You just got to pay attention. So you should have by now a clear understanding of what these things are. These three types of phylacteries: talismans, amulets, dark totems. From there, go into herbalism, go into stones and gems. Okay? See where everything leads you. Every tradition has them. Does not matter if you're left hand path, does not matter if you're right hand path. It is there. All right? I want to thank Hector for jumping on here with me in studio. Thanks for jumping on here for me. I hope you learned a lot. And feel free to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you so. It's up to you guys. All right. And until next time, have a good one.